The Lakers are continuing their interview process for their next head coach. How the potential candidates view Russell Westbrook might just play a vital role. According to reports, the team has been asking how coaching candidates would use Russ if they get hired. Shannon, what do you think here? Good idea or bad idea?
It's a great idea because you don't know if you're going to be able to get rid of Russ. So, Skip, it's like coming in, a lot of times when general managers and owners hire a coach, if you got a quarterback on it and, he's not performing like you thought he should, okay, how would you coach this guy? What would you do to get the best out of him? And that happens a lot of times because, Skip, everybody wants their own guy, but, we got a lot of money tied up in this guy. So let's just say for the sake of argument, we're not able to unload Russ. How would you coach him? How would you use him? What type of offense would you run? Because I don't think Frank Vogel, when he signed him to get the coach Skip and coach the Lakers, Russell Westbrook was not even a thought.
No.
So now all of a sudden you dump him into his lap like, here's a guy that's used to playing one way. He used to having the ball. Now all of a sudden he's playing off the ball, something we've never seen him do before.
Yep.
So it was tough. It was tough on him. So I'm just going to find out, okay, coach, let's just say for the sake of argument, Russ is on the roster. What are we doing?
You are on the record. You got to get him out of here.
Yes, but Skip, what if you can't? You always have to assume that you can't. I need to know because I don't want the coach to get there and say, well, you told me Russ was going to be gone, so I didn't have a plan of how to use him. Yes, I still believe the best course of action for the Lakers to move forward is to move Russ. But if you can't, 47.1 is a lot of money. But if you can't, Skip, I need you to tell me, Skip, these are the ingredients. Tell me, we watch all these cooking shows. These are the ingredients that they give you. Don't tell me that you need baking powder. Don't tell me you need vanilla extract. Mm-hmm. I gave you the ingredients to make the dish. Now tell me the dish that you're going to make with the ingredients that I gave you. Okay, Russ is on the team. Tell me how you're going to use him if you become the head coach.
Okay. I told you from the start, Russell Westbrook has become untradeable.
We won't get him up out.
Unless you want to pay somebody to take him off your hands by giving them draft choices. That's the only way out from under this. And they had a deal on the table for John Wall, but they wanted that 27 first-round pick is going to have to go to Houston. You have to pay them to get out from under your mistake, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe that the great Phil Jackson, whispering in Jeannie Buss's ear, is saying, time out. 19-7-7, which is what Russ averaged last year, 19.7 rebounds, 7 assists, does not grow on L.A. palm trees. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. 19-7-7. It sounds great until you start to go to the second level of statistics and you say, oh, wait a second, Phil. His three-point shooting was 29.8%. That was dead last out of 146 three-point shooters. Phil, his free throw percentage fell to 66.7%. That was 108th out of 112 free throw shooters.
Right.
And then you say, Phil, his turnovers were 295. He would have run away with it, except he sat for the last 3 games, and Trae Young won the quote-unquote turnover competition, right?
Right.
Okay, so for much of the year, for 95% of the year, Russ led in turnovers. And we came out here every day with a Russell Westbrook turnover blooper reel. And we just kept showing them, and they got more and more comical that we put clown music underneath them because they were preposterously bad. And if you show Phil that, and he would say, but wait a second, does he play hard? Oh, he plays his tail off on offense.
Right.
Not so much on defense.
Correct.
But he plays hard. Is he available? Oh, he's available every game. He's the most available player there is in the league because he sat himself one game when he was pouting, and yet he was highly capable this year. He was healthy enough this year to play all 82.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm sure Phil is sitting back saying, value, 19-7-7. Maybe the new guy could figure out how to better, as they said about James Harden, as Daryl Morey said, unlock him. Can we unlock Russell Westbrook? He's only 32 years of age.
But Skip,
it's not like he's 37.
But here's the thing. A guy that's in this stage of his career, how does he change? You say you want to unlock James. Are you going to let him play the exact same way that he played in Houston? You can't because he has Joel Embiid. So what do you do with Joel Embiid? Joel Embiid is not just going to be – Joel Embiid is not Clint Capella. He's just not going to catch lobs and put
No, that's a
putbacks.
great point. I agree. He's not Clint Capella.
So you're asking, say, well, let Russ be Russ. So in the meantime of Russ being Russ, AD is not Steven Adams. And you look at what he played with the Wizards. So what are you going to do with LeBron? So you keep saying, well, let Russ be Russ, but at what expense? Because you just going to have, AD, we just throw you lobs. You just get put back. You eat whatever you catch.
Yep.
So in other words, you get a loose ball, you dunk it. We'll throw you a lob. LeBron, we're gonna keep you exclusively off the ball,
Yep.
and we're gonna let Russ run the show.
Well, the problem here is, and this was LeBron's decision, I don't know if he initiated, but he signed off on, yes, I want Russ over Buddy Hield. Well, it was the literal worst running mate you could pair LeBron with.
Correct.
Because Russ is a horrendous shooter. He is the worst shooting
Correct.
point guard I've ever seen. He also has the worst hands of any point guard. But because he's the worst shooter, LeBron is just an average shooter. So all of a sudden,
LeBron needed shooters.
well, you need shooters around you because you don't want Russ's man just to fall back into the lane every time and say, LeBron, I'm here too.
Right.
You know, you can't come in here because LeBron is a great scorer. He's just not a great shooter. Right. So you can't ask LeBron to live out on the perimeter.
Correct.
Because he
that's not what he does.
That's not who he
Right.
was born to be.
And to be able to get downhill, Skip, he needs the ball.
He needs the ball, but can you get downhill against an extra defender who belongs to Russ?
No.
No.
I mean, you saw what happened with Giannis. Eventually, their teams will build a wall. Now, Skip, in the regular season, it'll be fine. Because, hey, I can't lock in because I'm trying to lock in on this, but, hey, then I got this guy here. But in a series, Skip, you see the Celtics, they can just lock in. This is how we're going to approach the Giannis situation. Look, I don't blame the Lakers for doing it this way, Skip, because you have to assume, let's just go ahead and assume you can't get rid of Russ. So now at least we prepared. At least we know the coach. Because, Skip, Jason Kidd should have gotten his job. He interviewed, and remember, Frank Vogel got the job, but he had to put Jason Kidd on the staff. They could have had Monty Williams, but they wanted to do it their way. They could have had Ty Lue. Now,
Jason Kidd was on the staff. And you could have elevated him over Frankie V.
But, Skip, remember they interviewed Jason Kidd first. They really liked Jason Kidd, and I believe it was Phil that says, nah, you need to go to Frankie V, but you got to have, and then they put Jason Kidd on the staff. Could have had Ty Lue, but, we want to tell you who, and Frank Vogel was open to say, okay, I'm the coach of the Lakers. Okay, y'all tell me who y'all want to put on my staff. Y'all put whoever y'all want to put there. And none of the other guys like, no. Monty Williams like, no. T. Lue like, no.
The other irony of this, I thought Frank Vogel did an outstanding job of trying to get the best out of Russ because he kid-gloved him all year.
He did.
And he juggled the egos involved. And I thought that might have been the best thing he did.
Skip.
So I'm wondering what these candidates are saying in the interview. I could do what?
Exactly.
Right?
Skip, it was Frankie V. Even after management, it came out, Brian Windhorst, Ramona Shelburne was reporting that the front office and the higher-up said, if you need to bench him, bench him. And Frankie, he might have benched him late in the ball games, but he didn't bench him for a game.
He did not. And I think that was coming from Phil and Kurt Rambis.
Yes.
Right?
So if you said, do whatever it takes, if you need to bench him, now all of a sudden, we need to keep him.
Well, if you want this job, you say, Phil, what would you like me to do?
Exactly. I would say exactly what you want to hear. I know what to do this. Oh, man, I have Russ. I put him in that dunker spot, or I let him have the ball, 50% of the time, and LeBron the other 50% of the time. Maybe you need to stagger them. Maybe you need to stagger their minutes.
Shannon, next year feels like a lost year for your Lakers. It's already lost. Same time next year, LeBron's going to be eating Ruffles on the couch.
Nah, we making the playoff next year.
Right.
We're not going another year. We're not making the playoffs. That's not what we're doing, Skip.
You'll pass Kareem, but you ain't making no playoffs.
We're making the playoffs, and we going deep.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Playoffs or not, I'll bet a case of dude, the drama continues either way, guys. All right, speaking of drama, will we see Bill Belichick attempt to call offensive plays next season? That would be interesting to watch. I'd buy tickets for that. We'll explain coming up next.